A long-running and controversial medical waste incinerator here in Fargo is no longer operating. In fact, the company that ran it says it shut it down in May.
After receiving an anonymous whistleblower letter, we wanted to know how it happened. As Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz found out, neighbors say the shutdown is long overdue.
Fargo's been a dumping hub for medical waste across the U.S. for years.
There's only so many incinerators, and we were one of the regional locations, and it was more economical for those facilities from California, Washington, West Coast to send it to Fargo.
4 years ago, during the Ebola outbreak, Fargo was one of just a few places throughout the country where infectious waste could be destroyed. Fargo's Healthcare Environmental Services Incorporated, known as HESI, had an incinerator that could do the job. But Executive Director Mike Erickson says it never did.
We never received any hazardous infectious waste, i.e. Ebola.
Now, after failing an emissions test last March, HESI says it shut down its incinerator for good, as it would take up to $1 million to upgrade it.
It really was a business decision. The incinerator is old technology, it's an old piece of equipment.
But a neighboring building manager says the shutdown was long overdue. Lonnie Larson first became a neighbor to the building in 2011.
I was walking the perimeter and noticed a bunch of broken vials full of blood and different medical waste that was in a snowbank that they had pushed off their parking lot onto our property.
When he brought it to Fargo's hazmat facility,
was kindly said to bring it back and be neighborly about it.
The health department said it would monitor the situation.
And that was about the end of the discussion there.
Emails from other neighbors wishing to remain anonymous, saying no action was taken. One neighbor says this has been going on even decades before 2011. But the health department says over the years, if the incinerator failed any tests, it would remedy the situation within the required time.
For every hour of operation, they do have to follow protocols, and they have to keep records, and they have to maintain minimum temperatures and all those sorts of things.
Then, in 2014, neighbors began to document dark, thick smoke, saying it caused corrosion to their buildings and even vehicles.
As far as the corrosion, it's hard to discern. You know as well as I do that water in itself can corrode and rust. On the other hand, for me to say it absolutely wasn't anything else, we can't say that.
This email from the health department blames the smoke on the angle of the sun. But judge for yourself. These pictures were taken at night. When I spoke to the health department, they said sometimes there was visible dark smoke, but only for about a minute at a time.
When they, let's say, would lose power, we might get a complaint about that. Let's say somebody was driving by and it was only literally 1 minute of emissions for a whole month.
Finally, in May of 2018, neighbors heard the incinerator was shut down. Neighbors say they're relieved, but they'd still like to know what took so long. So what comes next? Emails from HESI show they had plans to move forward on bringing in a more environmentally friendly way to destroy waste through a company called Monarch Waste Technologies. But HESI tells me that's just one possibility, and they're not in any rush to pick out the new technology since it can ship 80% of its waste to Valley City to be autoclaved. They say the other 20% that can't get shipped out of state. Reporting in the studio, Rose Itzkovitz, Valley News Live.
If you need help uncovering fraud or corruption in your community, call our whistleblower hotline. The phone number is on your screen, 701-237-6576, and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth.